Welcome. We have a very special this one. This is our 20th one.
Woohoo! 20!
20. And we are recording it live at one of our partner events at Sydney, Dicker Data TechX Sydney. So welcome. Well, you know it's coming. I'm a PH, Hoang. He's a PH, Pohai. We have a special guest today, Tony Lam.
Hello, boys.
Mr. Tony Lam, what's our PH acronym for today?
I was going to do the normal one, and people give you like a P and a H. Yeah. I'll give you an O at the end. My favourite food, pho. Let's do this.
I love it.
I did think, P, positivity, H for humour. No, pho is mate.
So, we have a P, we have H, you're bringing in the O.
How you guys doing today?
Mate, super.
We are fantastic.
fantastic.
We're live and we flew in yesterday and we're at this great event today, right?
Yeah, fantastic.
How's your morning?
Morning's been good. Had a couple of vendor meetings and partner meetings, where everyone's coming into to Sydney.
Nice.
We had a Zoom meeting this morning with Jacob, who's the Asia Pac channel leader.
Wow.
As well. So went over and had a chat to Microsoft as well. So been a busy morning. And it's going to get even busier. We've got 1,400
1,700 is the last count I heard.
I always like to lowball myself, especially for forecasts. 1,400, let's go.
For the forecast, right?
Yeah, fantastic.
Nice, mate. Nice. Well, what have we got in store today?
Yeah, what have we got in store today? We have Mr. Tony Lam. So I think let's create the backdrop, right? We've seen you before. I've seen you many. This is not the first conference. And I'm like, you know what? We should connect this guy because he's a video guy, right? He works with Dicker, right? And we're like, there's something aura about you, right?
It's just the lighting off the bald head.
Aura about you. You remind me of the Buddha, the happy Buddha. The happy Buddha. It's like, we need to get you on the podcast.
Here I am.
So here we are. Welcome. So, Tony, what is your role at Dicker?
They generally call me a business innovations manager, but that means a hell of doing a lot and not everything everybody thinks you are, right? But, it's sort of like, how do we bring vendors' messaging and products and enable to the channel? Ultimately, that drives like an outcome, which is sales for our partners and stuff. So it's that's sort of what I do, but from day to day, it's sort of like what you guys know, right? Sales pipeline, cleaning that up, marketing, go-to-marketing strategies, meeting partners, creating content, all sorts of gamut of stuff. It's quite a varied role. That's why I love it. So,
love it, right?
As confusing as that sounded.
Yeah. I mean, one thing that strikes me, Paul and I, this is our 20th episode, so we're still greenish, we're still learning our ways around, recording, production, etc. Right? What we found is not many people with colour do what we do, right? And I guess the question is, this is a hobby. This is our hobby, right?
Yeah, totally.
You're a full-blown professional getting paid for it, right? So I guess I want to explore, how did you get to this point? What are the roadblocks you had to break through to crack into what you're doing now? Because I think believe it or not, you do what you do for Dicker, but you have outside stuff as well, right?
Well, I do it for the vendors.
Vendors, I
do it for vendors. I generally don't bring it into my personal life so much. Everyone goes, why don't you do weddings? I'm like, there's too much love there. There's a song named that, I'm sure. But if I was to go right back from the beginning, when I used to work for the Microsoft team, I was a cloud lead then, and what I realized is to message something properly at scale, you can't do it one-to-one. It makes it very difficult. So how would I message how a complex licensing scheme like service provider license agreement, building data centers and stuff, to the masses? And that's where it started, right? And so that from there, it sort of evolved into other bits and pieces. But to answer your question, what are some of the challenges? Self-doubt is definitely just the first one. Right, you're going, oh man, how am I going to make this content useful? And for that one piece, my first piece, I took like 70 takes on an iPad. It was not fun. But then the other complex stuff is trying to commit to other people's expectations. Like when people don't know, they always have an opinion. So how do you sort of like cater to that a little bit?
And if too much opinion could ruin the project, right? And your work, and then it's just a very steep downward curve you could be going.
Totally, because you have in your mind generally what you want, and then everyone starts going, but that's why I think if you do this full time, and this is not my job, everyone thinks it is, but if you did this as a payment from somebody else, you'd have to cater your content to that payment method.
Yes.
You know, if someone's paying you and they want this, it comes out that way. It might not be the best thing for the piece of content.
Yeah.
I'm not in that sort of mode. I do it because I think this is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
And then the vendors who liaise with me go, okay, let's see if we can collaboratively get to a message. And that's where I think you see a lot of the fun. Yeah. You know, I don't think the process of content creation is easy. And
it's definitely not.
It's overawing sometimes.
Yeah. I mean, if you look at it, I mean, the full-blown professionals have a full-blown production team producing what they need to deliver before they actually put it on camera, right? So all this back-end work that needs to happen, the research, booking in the guests, booking the talent, the scripting, all that happens, and the start comes and just delivers it. Yeah, that's one thing we've noticed is, Paul and I, we do it as a hobby, but we're like, hey man, if we want to go next level, we need to have a producer team to produce the content, know what to talk about, do the research, you know, hire the talent, booking the talent if we need, etc. So it's to get it right. I mean, it's okay to punch out one episode every 6 months, but if you want to punch out one episode every fortnight a week, becomes a system. Yeah,
totally. So if you notice when we were in Brisbane, and I filmed you guys, that content was out the next day.
Yeah.
And what I try to do is get people who are energetic and sort of have the same feeling. So if you notice, I came to your stand early and I spoke to you guys, and I gave you a preview of what I was going to do. And then when we did it, we just banged it out. And the content was much easier at that point.
Right.
But that's almost like a perfect storm. If you really think about it, right? Sometimes you have a message and I'll tell you, oh, let's do this, and you'll read it and you don't believe it, and then you go change it. And the process goes on.
Right. So that's why you just said go, and we'll just throw the dip and let's do it. Because you're right. Because if you give someone a script, someone wants to rework it. Oh no, I don't want to deliver this. I don't want to do that. It becomes.
And it's not organic anymore.
No.
Not organic.
Not organic. Yeah. And then I found that when we first started, we scripted every word, right?
Yeah.
And then we realizing we were saying a lot of R's and ums. We were trying to repeat what we're trying to remember in our heads, as opposed to just having a fly conversation, right? And we thought, nah, this does not do the
we ripped up that script.
Script bang. Let's just do point form, and then let's go wing it.
Oh yeah, and I think people watch more. People watch people, right? Like the pros can do it like it's normal.
Yes.
When you're not a pro, you just got to be normal.
Yeah.
Sometimes that nervousness comes across, but that's natural, and people like that more than hi, my name's Tony. You know, it sounds
it's a bit robotic, you know.
Yeah. We actually did a presenting course start of the year, and the training course said to us, you know, have you ever watched the TV show or presenter, but that is not their natural voice, but they put on the natural voice,
totally.
You know, but that's not very, you know, organic, or you know, what's that word?
Authentic.
Authentic's the word. Authentic, right? It comes across as
but I like to challenge the word authentic. I think we put on a voice because we have to, because we know it's more interesting.
Yes.
Like whenever I get hi, it's Tony here. You know, that's still me, but it's just sort of like a happier, more enthusiastic version, right?
True,
so
right?
everyone uses the word authentic, and I really believe you should, but sometimes it's not exactly what everybody wants as well.
That's true.
It's a neat, you guys don't understand what I'm saying, right?
They can tell it in each different setting, you know. So you've worked with all these brands, right? What's your favorite brand? Have you got a favorite brand?
On the spot. On the spot.
Oh wow! Look, my thing is I don't have one favorite, but what I like to do is try to make challenging simple for people.
Yeah.
Because a lot of times the vendors, they think their stuff is really amazing, and you'll understand this. But how do I make it so that people really like it for what it is? I help the Zoom guys, I help Convol, which I manage in Nutanix. You look at all my content, it's complex stories and complex concepts made easy for people to absorb. And then it's the interest and things like that. I do more technical stuff as well, because I used to be a proper techie, like a proper nerd. But I find that if you're not got people through the door, they don't get buy-in straight away.
You can't leave with that because you'll probably lose their interest, right?
And to be honest, you guys are my favourite. So how's that?
How's that, mate? How's that? Well, you know.
I'm very touched.
We might need to repay you.
I'll take one of these.
We'll repay you, mate. We'll repay you, mate.
So what were you doing before Dicker? Like, obviously, take us back to...
Take us back.
Yeah, take us back to somewhere where you were...
Let's go way back. Way back.
Give us a little bit of story.
My career, I went to university, did civil engineering. But I spent more time at the basketball court, probably 6 or 7 hours a day. You know, you think you're the next Jordan.
Nice.
Harry wasn't out then. And so I did civil engineering. It was really boring, moving dirt from one place to another. And so I ended up doing an MCSE and NT4. And then from there, I just went straight through to junior help desk support to help desk supervisor, and then went to Datacom for a better place to be their Wintel engineer for Citrix and pre-sales, and here I am. So it's been more technical support and projects than it's been sales. So I've only been doing sales for about 8 years.
Okay.
So it's a little bit different.
Yeah. How many years would be support in tech?
14 years support in tech.
Wow, wait, that's a long career, man.
It's a long. Hello, it's Tony. How can I help you today? But surprisingly, when you come out of support, no one wanted to give me a pre-sales job. They said you can't talk.
Oh,
you can't sell. Well, no, I couldn't get a pre-sales job. They're like, oh, you've been on a service desk, but you're doing projects.
So you had to break through that mold, the barrier, right? Yeah, totally. And who gave you the first crack?
It was a gentleman called Jade Doherty he works at Vodafone TPG now.
Yeah.
He gave me my first crack, and I was
there you go.
I was a cloud pre-sales there, and the things we did, I think we were one of the first to sell monthly recurring revenue of about 120K a month.
Yeah.
Back about 10 years ago, when it didn't even exist.
Didn't exist. Yeah.
So there was some big deals.
So you went from trying to break the mold to explore new ground.
Oh yeah,
you know?
You have to.
It's awesome. Given, you're Asian like us.
Yes.
What was your upbringing like? Did you grow up in Sydney? Let's go back. Let's go way back.
Way back. No, I came over here in '78. My parents were Vietnamese refugees.
'78. My parents came in '79.
Yeah,
wow, early settlers.
Proper refugees. They went to Thailand. My dad was the one driving the boat.
Okay.
And they dropped over here, and like very good Vietnamese people, we did the sewing.
Yeah, rag trade.
The bakery.
The rag trade, the bakery.
And then the building of construction sites and townhouses to sell, and then cafes and restaurants.
Okay. Yeah.
And I was making bread when I was like 6 or 7 years old.
Yes.
I remember
nice. Wake up in the morning, roll their dough.
But that's where I think having that work ethic.
I was just about to say that. Okay, there's a line of when you grow up in that environment, okay, instills in you a certain type of work ethic, right? Meaning, no job, all right, is too high for you, too small to do, right? No, sorry, only people like, sorry, it's not my job, not my CV, I can't do it. Mate, at a family business, you don't do it, you don't eat.
I say this to all the guys, think about having to give someone customer service for a 20-cent roll. And then start your base of what customer service should look like, and you'll understand. Like, it's a different world. Now we talk about the stuff we sell, hundreds of thousands of stuff, but the crux of it is 20 cents. You've got to have a smile. Hey, how you doing today? How many rolls would you like? And I'll tell you a fun story. My mum could speak about 40 languages. What? Enough to say, hey, how you doing? How's your wife or your husband? How many bread rolls would you like? That's all
she knew. She hustled. She hustled the art. Wow.
She found the way to connect.
To
connect with everyone. To everyone.
She could speak Maori, Turkish, Lebanese, Spanish, Japanese. She learned all the languges in the area. And we grew up in Auburn.
Phenomenal woman.
Auburn, right? It's a melting pot of all the languages. It's crazy.
Wow.
Great group.
Yeah.
I should interview her one day. It's
amazing.
That'd be great.
So how was your dad?
My dad's just a workhorse. No complaints. We bought the bakery. He did 3 shifts every day and slept 6 hours.
Never took holiday?
Never took holidays, no complaints. Just work. He's retired now. He does gardening, But man, people go to me, well, why are you working so long hours? I'm like, nothing compared to my old man.
That is very true, man.
If you ever worked in a bakery, you look like a Shaolin monk with the burns in your hands, right? Because you're taking the shit out all the time. I can never complain about working too hard. When you see that sort of stuff growing up, it's a different world.
It's different, it's comparison, right? Yeah. I was the same. My folks were in the rag trade. My auntie and uncle were in the bakery. They did a $2 roll in the bakery in Sydney. But majority of my folks are in Melbourne. But they had a bakery as well, and man, that bakery, takeaway, cafe as well. The Rollos had cafe. But my folks stayed in the rag trade business. Probably stayed a little bit too long before the industry pretty much shut down here. But man, it was a grind. He never ever took holiday. I think he only took one holiday, which he didn't take me because I was a bit older by then. And he took my brother to Gold Coast, man. We went to the movie world. I remember came back with the photos of movie world.
Expo 88. That was my first holiday. So I want to ask you a question, particularly around the bakery and Vietnamese people. we're not very innovative. What we do, like Vietnamese people generally, we don't create anything new. We actually copy really well. We're very resourceful. If you notice, the marketing's always the same, or there's a bakery in one area, there'll be 3 different Vietnamese bakeries in the same area. It's absolutely nuts.
They don't need to reinvent the wheel.
No.
Mate, they don't need to reinvent the wheel. All they need to do is just go do it. Yeah? That was their thing. Just go do it, right? And we know most things already successful. You just go and do it, right? Don't worry about all other plans, but no action, no results. They're just going to do it.
Yeah, totally.
Just a bunch of doers.
How about you, Paul? How's your background, mate?
That is actually, like, what you say is actually really resonates with me, because when my parents went over from China to New Zealand, they were in the takeaway business. And I've grown up in the takeaway business my whole life, right? So I think my parents have probably had 8 takeaways, in their whole in my whole lifetime, right? And the last takeaway, like, they're retired now, right? Yeah. But all I remember is during that time, they would have one day off. That would be Christmas Day, but it's a half day. So really, it's a half day off, right, in a whole year, which is crazy, right? But the last takeaway shop they had, there was a street. It's in Hoang, suburb in Auckland, and there's 3 other takeaways as well. Well, there's a chicken shop, which is kind of half takeaway, and 2 other takeaways, and they're all on, like, basically facing each other, And so, like you say, it's really similar, It's not reinventing anything. They fry the same fish, the same chips, the potato fritters, the sausages, all that stuff. They make the burgers, the fried rice, etc. But they're prepared to work, and they've taught me, in some way, looking up to them and living up to them, to work hard, and that's it. I never want to complain, There is no reason to complain. So
I tell these stories to my daughter all the time. She goes, what are you talking about? I should have just get stuff. Like, no. Crazy.
But so that's my story. But how would you describe yourself?
Everyone asks me this question. Actually, it's very strange. I don't describe myself in any particular term. What I say is I'm adaptable. I'm just purely adaptive, right? There is no one, like, if I need to be this for that role, I'll do that. I'll merge what I've learned and I'll learn from other people, and I'll adapt what I need to do to get to where I need to be. I don't think there's one thing that really defines. I mean, I'm technical, I'm sales, all those things you guys know, but I think the one thing is just adaptable. And I think in this day and age, you shouldn't really define yourself by one thing. And if you have that, you
self-calibrate.
Totally.
That's important.
I think you've picked actually a really good way to describe yourself, because everyone loves you, because you adapt, they can relate, or that they can connect, and that way, you actually have a lot of people that love you, all around you.
Look, I appreciate everybody, who talks. It's quite an industry we have. It's quite small, and you'll probably see tonight I'm going to interview like a crap ton of partners as well. But the whole point is having a good time. I think that the positivity and the humor, I think, is that I said a bit earlier about the PH. I think that's really what you have, and I think I have it. So.
Oh no, you brought it, mate. You brought the O. You brought the O.
Yeah, you brought the
O. Which leads us to another O we have.
Here
we go. We have an O. Since you made an O, we have another O for you.
We've never done this before, have we? We haven't done this before. But what we have here is our first PH podcast tin of biscuits. Do you remember these?
Yes, I do.
Yeah, did you grow up with these?
Yes, I do. Except the tins were much bigger.
Much bigger. And this is our gift to you.
No, thank you.
As part of being in our 20th episode.
20th episode?
Yeah. That's another O.
Badge on honour, mate.
Thank you so much, guys. Appreciate that. Appreciate it.
Do you remember eating those?
I do. I do remember eating these all the time.
All the time.
In Chinese tea.
Yes.
Now,
not Western tea. Asian
for
tea.
our listeners, we just gave Mr. Tony here a tin of, is it the Danish? Danish biscuits, traditional set that we all used to eat as kids. As soon as I saw it, I go, Paul, I used to eat those as kids. Everyone's like, we all had them as kids. Apparently, they are hard to track down. Paulie tracked it down.
Nice work. Thank you, boys. Appreciate it.
So, Tony, any advice would you give to your younger self?
Oh, Jesus.
I would say around that 21. Think back when you're 21. What advice would you give to yourself? And at 21, would you have been open to hearing yourself?
No. No. I say this all the time. When I was 21, I was a grumpy sod. I felt like 55. I wouldn't listen to anyone. You know, I was like this guy who did heaps of martial arts. No one could touch me. I was very arrogant.
Wow.
So you wouldn't even notice. I mean, I wouldn't even talk to anybody.
Wow.
I wouldn't go. I was just playing basketball. I wouldn't trash talk. Just do my thing. Wow. So to the younger me, it's just be more friendly. Like what you see now, when I was 21, there was nothing like this.
Oh, really?
Nothing like this. I'll go ask all my mates. Yeah. I know one here will know me, but when I was younger, but I wouldn't talk to anyone. I always thought I was the bomb.
Right.
I always didn't talk to anyone. Yeah. It was proper bad time.
Right. So you had a bit of a chip on your shoulder, like, you know, I'm better than most people because of the martial arts.
I think also because, like, you know, a little bit of coming from my background, my parents like coming over as refugees, they always wanted to do better, and no one could sort of touch you, and you should be proud of what you do. But I think that built a certain persona that, you know, that was a bit more arrogant. So
were you born here, Tony?
No, I came over when I was about 18 months.
Oh, so you came out 18 months?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, so basically you and I born in Melbourne, 79. My mum came over when she was pretty much 8 months pregnant. So we grew up in the same area, in the same kind of era.
Yes.
And, you know, it was a very, let's just say, a white Australia back then, right? You know, and the upbringing was rough. It was rough, you know. Yeah, totally. Early on, I was probably the only few. It's funny enough, my Asian mates at school are still my mates now. But, you know, we basically went to, I grew up in the West, and we got bullied. We bullied, and you had to build. You had to have thick skin.
It's interesting because I saw this as I was growing up, and I married my wife, and she'd never opened her eyes to sort of the races. And I went up to the Gold Coast, not to tease anyone, but I think at that time, probably like 10 years ago, I'm walking with my wife to a pub because, you know, when you're young, you're a bit poor. Yeah. And I'm walking around, and this guy gives me the whole, you know, this is what Asians sound like. Like he's yelling across the street. Yeah. And he's like, you know, like what they do. And I walk up to him and say, mate, I don't know what you're talking about, but this is what I talk. I talk English, so I don't understand a word you say. And he was so embarrassed. Wow. So embarrassed. And I say this all the wrong Asian, wrong time. just don't try it. I don't put up with it. And no one should, to be honest. Love it. Racism in any scale.
Should exist, it really exists, But no, great insight, man. Great insight, love it.
It's all good.
Last question, basketball. You know, what is it about that basketball? Why is you mentioned it tonight? You know, what is it about all those hours, all that time doing basketball? I'm going to be honest with you, I was rubbish when I was introduced to basketball. I was like year 8, and all the kids didn't want to play with me. Didn't want to bar with me when I was year 8. And so every morning at 5 o'clock at Auburn, I'd go to the basketball and I'd shoot hoops for 5 hours. Just by myself. Until I was decent. And then these guys tried to mug me for my basketball, and then my parents built a basketball court in the backyard. So I didn't even have to go that far. So like the whole time, that's where my basketball, you know, I grew up in the area where Jordan was playing, Shaquille O'Neal, like when they're, Charles Barkley's my favorite player.
Barkley, Barkley, Jordan,
and then from there, man, I played center, point.
Center point?
Yeah, I was the point guard because I could dribble, I could shoot, but I was too big. I was about 100 kilos.
Yeah.
Wow.
I was too big, too slow.
Almost like a mini Shaq.
Yeah, too slow to play outside. Yeah. But on offense, I just back you down and figure out. And,
But you had fun.
Oh, dude, I love it. I miss it so much. I stopped playing probably about 3 years ago. Knees and hips and ankles all gone. Surgery, multiple legs. So,
well, maybe in the next show we should get a basketball hoop, you know?
Well, let's do it.
We should, you know? In the next show,
I used to play basketball as a kid. I don't think I'm any good now, but, you know.
No, I got the shimmies, I got the left.
Yeah, mate, you got it, You got the chops there.
I'll back you down. I'll hurt you in the post, don't worry. I'll treat you good down there.
That's be good.
That's good, man. Well, Tony, thanks for coming on our 20th.
Thank you.
So pretty amazing we got the 20th.
Yes.
I heard a stat. I don't know how true this stat is. From a podcast perspective, when you hear over 20, we're the 1%er.
Yeah.
It was if the 90%ers would be like
the third
episode, but from 30 to 20, it's the 1%er. Yeah. So I'll take that stat.
No, I think you guys will do well. Just keep it fresh, you know. Get new people and the stories. People's stories are the main thing. No one cares about the sales, right? Everyone wants a story, background. I interviewed my mate who's like the head of pre-sales for RSA. And his story's amazing. He came from like Canada where you don't see the sun very often. And he's like the head pre-sales guy for RSA. And the best guy, but it's the stories, guys. And I think you guys are doing amazing. So good on you. 20 and above. Let's
go.
Thank you for coming on board. Paul, you want to close us out?
No problems. All right. Well, Tony Lam, the man. Thank you.
Thank you.
And thank you to our listeners. It's been a great show. We're live here, TechX Sydney. Make sure you tune in and all the LinkedIn stuff as well that's going on and everything that Tony has. We appreciate you and we look forward to our next episode. Catch you guys later.
Catch.
Go the foe!